Today's episode is sponsored by Sandals Resorts and Bridechilla Insurance. What's up, Chillas? Today we are with Keith Willard of Keith Willard Events, and we are talking about apps and planning. And I'm sure we're going to get a lot of fun stories in between because Keith is a trip. He's become a legend in the industry, and he's a friend of the Bridechilla community because our girl Megan Ely and Kevin Dennis, like you've worked with a lot of people, but you've also worked with a lot of legends in the industry, like Colin Cowie, who we were just talking and singing the praises of, and David Tutera. And so I'm really looking forward to getting a plethora of knowledge and stories from you today.
I love it. And, and I love your podcast. I listen to it. So it's like you're so relaxed with your guests, and then it allows them to just say stuff that they may not have thought about saying and may regret later. It's kind of like one of those like late night tequila drink date nights, you're like, What did I say? Anyway, so I'm excited about this.
Tell us about your company and how you got in the business, because you have a really great story.
I'm going to give you the short version because obviously there's a very long version because I'm old, and that happens with old people. It's that we like to talk over ourselves.
Not old.
But I actually started and a lot of people are not even going to remember this. There used to be a thing called a Jerry Lewis Telethon, right? And it used to be this 24-hour that guy was on TV for 24 hours raising money. And I forget what he was raising it for at that point. That's how old it is. And you used to have these milk cartons that you would go collect pennies, the thing that no longer is in circulation, pennies. And so I would create these like little road stops, like a hayride for a penny or swing for a penny. I was 6, I was 6 years old. And I would bring in like this whole wagon full of pennies, feeling so proud about this stuff, right? And that's actually where it started, is that because the only way you could get people to be interested and stop is by creating something really unique or interesting that caught their attention, that made them stop and take a look. And I realized at a very early age that the experience, how somebody feels, is how big or impactful the memory is going to be later, right? So if you make somebody feel really good and laugh and love and joy, that memory is going to stick for a much longer time in their head, and they'll be able to remember specific details out of that because of how they felt. I was the executive director of this small not-for-profit called Immunicize, which was a health and wellness program in Dallas, Texas for people with HIV and breast cancer, right? So the idea was that through wellness that you would have better treatment options. And we were too small of an organization to really apply for major grants and things like that. So again, the event industry came to my rescue. It's like I started throwing these big dance parties, so we do 4 dance parties. And actually I have a poster still from way back then called Jungle Gym. Yeah, I actually created a whole dance party in a gym, which was really cool, I thought. I don't know if I look back at it now and go, oh. Anyway, but it raised great money that helps support this organization, that allowed us to keep the teachers on, that allowed us to keep nutritionists on and all these things. But that all came from events, right? Yeah. And then there was a gentleman that came to one of the events. His name was Russell Hallway. He was my mentor in the event industry. And he said, he was asking me questions like, who designed this? I did. Who did that? How'd you get these? I did. And so he's like, come and join my team. He goes, that's what we do. We do events for corporations, and I would love to get your brain on some of these events. And so literally within a couple of months, because I had to make sure the organization was safe, so I made sure that I turned it over to somebody else that would take care of it. But within a couple of months, I'm on a jet plane flying to London and doing this big capital markets day for Nokia, that old cell phone company that nobody knows anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was my OG cell phone at 19.
Right? Oh, yeah. So we were doing a capital markets day for Nokia down in the basement of a hotel and couldn't get cell service. So that was my first foray into like major events, was that thing. Within a couple of years, I started my own business with Russell's blessing. And then I got lucky enough to do Mark Cuban's 40th birthday.
I saw that. It was like a backyard bash.
Right? Isn't that amazing? And so that was a real eye-opening lesson, because then I realized that people's budgets are based on their income. So their percentage is the same. So let's say, and I'm varying. See, this is what happens with old people talking, right? Because we just go off things. So that was my real big lesson into what people will spend for their event. This
is important for people to know, because like you said,
right?
Because we all have a different budget, right? Someone might only have $5,000 to spend on a wedding, and some might have $50,000, some might have $500,000.
Right. Well, and that's what I'm saying is that, so if you take, and it was my mom actually that helped me see this, because I was like, I can't believe how much money we're spending on this backyard barbecue. It's just crazy, because I brought in John Mellencamp to sing. I mean, stage production. It was, out the door, probably several $1 million for this backyard barbecue. And she said, look, if you took his total wealth of several $1 billion at that point, because he had sold Yahoo, and then you said, okay, his backyard barbecue is, let's say, 2% of his yearly income. And then you talk to somebody that makes $40,000 a year, and they do a backyard barbecue, and they use 2% of their yearly income. It's still the same amount of money to them mentally, because it is a percentage of their total earnings. And so it is important. So that wedding that somebody is spending that has $20,000, and it's a big deal to them because $20,000 means a lot to them, is the same amount that $2 million would mean to somebody that's got, let's say, $100 million, right? It's that same kind of angst and worry, and so it's important to honor the joy and respect that people, even with smaller budgets, that this means a lot to them, right? You can't treat them different because they make less money. If anything, you need to be even more careful with them because it means even more to them, right? So back on track. Anyway, I then burned out of the event industry, moved to Florida, changed my life like at 35, said, screw it, sold everything, moved to Key Largo, chilled out, like did nothing but hang out on a boat, fish, eat dinner with friends for like 6 months, did nothing. And then I moved to Fort Lauderdale and met my husband literally the second day I lived here. So that was 20.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love Fort Lauderdale.
I do too.
And that's so crazy. You met him like as soon as you arrived.
Like the second day, right?
Like you weren't, well, here's the thing. It always happens when you're not expecting it.
Oh my God. Who was expecting it on your second day in a new town? And so 22 years later, we're still together. Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
He's obviously mentally ill. So there you go. So anyway, so I decided that I didn't want to be into the event side of it anymore. So I started on the hotel side. So I started as a entry-level catering sales manager at Pier 66. I worked my way up through as a director of catering for Ritz-Carlton. And then at that point, I decided to go back into the event world. And what that did for me is that it helped me see both sides of the game now, because now I understand what hotels go through, and I understand what the logistic needs and the emotional needs of the client are. And I'm able to now help all parties when I do my events now. So that's where I am now, is that I started my business 10 years ago, and we've been going gangbusters ever since, but always.
That's amazing.
Right. So,
well, and I love that. I think you'll be able to give a lot of great perspective because you have been in so many different facets of the business. And I'm really, I want to circle back to this budgeting, because I think it's really important to make sure everyone is aware, whomever is listening right now, like your budget is your budget. And it's so easy. We talk about this all the time. It's so easy to get caught up in what we see on Pinterest, on Instagram, especially if you're going down the rabbit hole of Vogue weddings like I can do sometimes.
Right.
TikTok is a big one. So keep that in mind, though, and don't also get down on yourself if you can't afford, T Swift engagement florals,
right?
Or J-Lo's multi-wedding. We're just talking about J-Lo's multi-wedding because Colin Cowie had done her wedding. She had how many outfit changes, and how many weddings did she actually have for Ben Affleck? She had like a few weddings.
5 full-on weddings. Yes. Oh my God, crazy. But here's the thing: is that TikTok is fake. I mean, the thing is that you gotta, when people see a photo on, let's say, TikTok, Instagram, whatever, or Facebook, because as my goddaughter says, Facebook is for old people. Ha! So if you see a photo, you don't know how much time and effort went into that one photo, right? They adjusted the lighting, they then enhanced it and brightened it and reduced it and to make it to something that you emotionally respond to. And now you're like, oh my God, I need to recreate that specific moment, but on a large scale. That might not be possible. Right? That might not be possible because there might be so much computer AI integrated into that one photo. You don't know. And so it's better to think about like, what are the things that you like personally? What is your joy? I mean, one of the things that I really love about celebrities nowadays, they're like, find you. What makes you special? Right. And I think that's what we as planners need to be more focused on is what makes the couple special. How do we integrate special parts of them into the wedding that then connects them to their guests and their guests go, oh yeah, that's totally them. Right.
Yeah.
Because that's an emotional thing. And I love big impact, low cost. Those are my favorite things. I love big impact, low cost. That's like, I'm like the dollar store kind of guy. Like, It's like, I love that big impact, low budget. So
like, what can I create today?
Right? I mean, because creativity costs nothing. It costs nothing.
But there's let's have a caveat to that though. Yeah. There's a lot of people that think to save money, they're going to DIY everything.
No. Oh God. No. I mean, you gotta inject a little reasoning into all of this. So here's the process that I go about, and I call it a spaghetti session. So I have a spaghetti session with my couples, and I basically say, okay, for this hour, we're going to throw out all the rules. There's no budget. There's no restrictions. There's no, I'm not going to tell you that it can't be done. I'm not going to we're going to just start brainstorming about big and small ideas for your wedding. And I just start writing them down. And then at some point, you start seeing the things that repeat themselves and the things that start sticking, right? So that's the spaghetti thing, is that you throw pasta at the wall and you see what sticks. And so I bring those down. And then if I figure out kind of something that they really like one of my couples was really into messaging. For some reason, everything that they kept talking about came back to some type of messaging, like message in a bottle, messages on ribbon, messages in the air, cloud writing, and all these things. And so we were able to then go, okay, this is something that they really enjoy. This is part of their life. And so I made them write, and I shouldn't say made, but I asked them to write a thank you note to every single guest, right? And so then that became part of their place card. So, and they actually, the couple took it one step further, and they found a photo of themselves with the guest and then wrote the note on the back of the photo. And we hid that under the napkin at their place setting. So every guest at the wedding sat down, pulled the napkin up, found a photo of them with the couple, turned it over, and then there was a handwritten note from the couple about them and why they were special to them.
That's so beautiful.
Holy crud. I mean.
And that's how you do a favor, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. And then, so this was a high impact, low cost moment because, what did that cost, right? The cost of time. That's really what it cost is time. But
I think that was currency well spent.
Some
time can be wasted on some of these DIY projects.
Well,
that I think is worth the money.
Well, and you notice there was not a glue gun mentioned. So
yes.
not a single glue gun or bead mentioned. So you have to be careful about the things that you DIY. Is it going to have the emotional impact? So, I always put a value to the emotional response. So if you are making your candles and you're putting, this beautiful lace every night, you're getting burned by the hot glue gun while you put on the beads. And then you have all these candles out and they're so beautiful and you put so much effort into it. What is going to be the response from your guests? Your guests are going to go, oh, what a beautiful candle. They're not connected to it. They don't know you made it. They have no idea what that story is behind that candle. So if the communication is only going one way, then that effort is wasted. It has to go both ways. You have to be able to have the messaging go there and back, right? So if it only goes one way, it's a waste of your time. So don't do the DIY.
So I want to talk about AI because you mentioned AI, but we'll get to that in a little bit. I want to kick this part off with the big three, which is the Knot, Wedding Wire, Zola. Because when people think apps and planning, they tend to think of, I'm creating my wedding website, right? What's your opinion about the big three? Because it can be helpful for couples planning, but vendors are not fans.
No,
it's a little controversial right now.
We are not fans of this. And, and here's the thing. It's because I've been on both sides of this. I understand the need for something. Our couples, when they come to us, have never planned an event ever in their life. They may have planned a birthday party, a surprise party, and that might have stressed the hell out of them, right? They might have been like, I am never doing another party. And now they're doing a wedding. And so now they're like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? And of course, what's out there? Advertising. The Knot, Wedding Wire, right? Zola, right? So that's their resource. That's the only place that they really have to go for wedding information. Now, the kind of information that those big three are putting out, is it always correct? No. I mean, we saw from the Knot, the big survey that they did, that their average wedding was $33,000. Well, if you broke that down, that meant, a $2,000 backyard wedding in Missouri was counted in that big, funnel of data.
Right.
But yet, if somebody's just reading $33,000 is the average cost, they only see the headline. They didn't read below it. And so now they're going to their planner and saying, well, my budget's $33,000. It's like, well, no, that doesn't make sense. So it's kind of a bad situation because there's not a lot of tools for couples to use. And so they got to have something. So you got to have these big three to at least get them moving in the right direction. But then you have to have the educational component on our side that says, okay, it's good that you got that started, but let's restart this game. And I'm going to sit you down and we're going to talk about the realities of planning a wedding, right? What are the things that you're going to actually need to focus on? What are the things that are going to be worth spending money on? And what are the things that aren't? Because again, we're looking for high emotional impact, low cost, right? And don't cheap out on music. Don't cheap out on photography. Don't cheap out on food, because those are things people are going to remember, right? And the photos are oh God, finding a cheap photographer, you're going to hate yourself for years when you don't have great photos. Oh my God, you're going to hate yourself forever. So make sure that you get a great photographer. Make sure that you have a great DJ, because there's nothing worse than nobody dancing and doing anything at a party, right? So there are things that you want to spend money on. But
how about videographer? Because it's the number one regret of most couples. What's your take on videography? Because people tend to cut that from their budget.
It depends on the couple. Like I have some couples that are really into video, and some couples that are really not. They don't watch TV. They're outdoorsy. They go hiking a lot, and those kind of couples, I say, look, you're based on your lifestyle. You're not really sitting in front of the TV. You're not scrolling through Instagram. If you have a couple that's what they do, video's important. So you got to know the couple to know whether or not to pull video or not, because you
got to know yourself. As the couple, you need to know yourself.
Be realistic. Don't
do something because someone thinks you need to do it.
Exactly.
Although I am a big video person.
I love video. I am sorry. There's nothing more than getting the perfect video that has the music and the heartbreaking, these heartbreaking vows. Oh, and then, and then they get the groom's tear. Oh, nothing
you get
like
parents and grandparents reactions and like your loved ones that, aren't always going to be around, and you have these moments to look back on.
Have these moments to, but the thing is that you can get some of these things with like an audio guest book. There are other ways that if you want to get these recordings from your family, like I love a video photo booth, like, the confessionals, like the reality TV confessionals is now a big thing for weddings, where your guest can go into a little booth, like a reality confessional, and hit record, and they can make a message to you. And then to help them, because most people suck in front of a camera, you give them 4 questions that they can answer. And then it prompts them to like, what's your favorite memory of the couple? What's the goofiest thing that you two ever did as children? The couple makes up the questions so that they have a sense of what their guests are going to respond to. But
I love that. What a fun idea.
Yeah,
It's another interactive thing you can do at the wedding.
I love a reality TV confessional at a wedding. I love it. I think if you get the right people, like Dip Photo, I'm going to do a little name drop there because Dip Photo was the one that I started working with on doing this. He actually created a whole Johnny Carson frame
late night talk show hosting.
Yeah, had the microphone and the whole bit. It was great. Like he did an amazing job. So
that's rad.
Yeah. So I think that you don't have to, if you don't do video, have some type of recording there that gets that emotional aspect.
Imagine a wedding day where each detail is already taken care of, allowing you to savor every moment. At Sandals, your dream wedding can finally become a reality. From intimate elopements to grand celebrations, Sandals offers customizable packages for every size and style. Plus, everything is included: your accommodations, gourmet dining, premium drinks, and all your wedding services. You get a dedicated wedding planner and an on-site team to manage everything from ceremony to reception. And here's a really sweet deal. Stay 7 nights or longer in a club or butler-level room, and you'll receive their Sweetheart Wedding Package, completely on them. That means your ceremony, decor, and even a delicious 2-tier wedding cake. For those of you who really want to be sure, you can even test drive your wedding experience before you book it. Stop dreaming and start planning. Head over to sandals.com today or call 1-877-SANDALS to create your unforgettable wedding experience. How important is it to have the wedding website? Do guests really go to it? Is it a great tool still? Is it kind of dated? Is there other options?
It depends on your age, right? So people my age, we like information, but we like things in print. I still read magazines, so if I have a wedding invite that has all the information in it, that I'll go to it. That'll go in my fridge and I'll refer back to that. And then when it gets closer to the wedding, if you have a good wedding planner, they've created timelines for everybody. And then people can have it either on their phone or in paper, which is what the older people will do. They'll have it on paper and they'll keep it in their hotel room. I think that wedding websites are important because it does give a general location for everybody to kind of turn into if they get lost. And it is a great place to keep people updated. But I think with things like WhatsApp and just iMessages, there's communication, because that's really what we get down to is communication.
Yeah.
Communication is so important between you and the guests. And I mean, this seems to be a revolving topic even now, is that communication has to be both ways, right? You gotta send out those push notifications, but you also gotta get some information back to make sure that they're receiving it, right? And so I think that wedding websites have their place, but don't get crazy on it, right? Enjoy it. Use one of the templates that Zola or The Knot or Minted or one of those put, put a lot of pictures up on it. People love photos. Keep the wording to a minimum because people don't read. And then use other communication tools to make sure that you're communicating with your guests.
What are some of your favorite guest tools then? Because for me, I always think about the actual wedding day. I love that QR codes are a thing.
I love QR codes.
But leading up to it.
Yeah.
If you decide to forego the wedding website or you want something in addition, what is another option for us to make sure we stay connected with them? Because Lord knows you cannot always count on word of mouth, because game of telephone, if you've ever played it, you tell one friend or family member, it's not going to come out the exact same way when they talk to the next person.
So let's first talk about the realities of being a human being in today's world. Right? So let's talk about the fact that you're never going to get 100% of your people to pay attention 100% of the time. there's always going to be a random aunt or nephew or someone that wanders off and does their own thing, doesn't show up on time for photos. And it doesn't matter if you do push notifications, you call him, you send smoke signals, nothing is going to make that guy or that girl show up on time because that's who they are. They suck at that kind of stuff. And so there's got to be a part of you that goes, all right, we know, our alcoholic Uncle Jim is not going to be there because he's going to be at the bar drinking somewhere. And let's have somebody that tag teams that it kind of is nearby him to drag him. You work that solution into your communication problem, right? So you got to be realistic about the people that are coming to you because it's not everything's going to go great on your wedding day. You have to base your planning in reality. Your family, they're crazy. That they have installed all of those buttons that they're going to be pushing beep, 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 right on your day. So you got to put on your coat of invisibility and make sure that you're ready mentally for the day because you're going to have patience. You're going to have to let things roll. And sometimes some of the best moments are made from when people screw up, I'm telling
Happy
you.
accident?
I love that. I love when a ring bearer wanders off. There's nothing like seeing a 3-year-old kind of go, oh, daddy, and going off.
Yeah, squirrel.
Right? It's squirrel.
Yeah.
Those videos of everybody trying to guide him back down the aisle are precious. They're precious. So, I love that kind of stuff. So, I like WhatsApp. I like iMessages. Do your separate groups. I also like I have a software system called Timeline Genius that everybody knows. And Timeline Genius now allows you to invite other groups into the editing process. So that way you can send it out to wedding parties as well. So
that's great.
Right? So you can send the timeline directly to the maid of honor, directly to the best man, directly to...
No excuse.
Yeah. Right. So
info's right there. Well, then, with your vendor, because communication is super important with your vendors, obviously, especially if you're deciding to forego having a planner.
Why?
And so with the would the timeline tool be useful in that purpose as well? Then,
so I think that becomes even more important. If you don't have a planner, that means you need to have another communication tool that replaces that planner because that planner is like an assistant. They're going to be there going and grabbing people and making sure everybody is in place where they're supposed to be at the times that they're supposed to be, right? So if you don't have an assistant that is there, then you need to have your virtual assistant. And we're all kind of used to virtual assistants at this point. And so, I think it's really important that you have some type of other tool. And if not, have a really strong maid of honor, a really pain in the ass maid of honor that is on people because you're going to need somebody that organizes everybody. And I think the timeline, like a timeline genius type of thing is really important. I think that you got to have a notebook or some type of online file, Google Files or something that keeps
Google Docs and spreadsheets.
Google Docs and spreadsheets are super important. You have those all ready. But keep in mind that we don't want to go crazy because most people don't read. You only want to give them the highlights, right? Only share the information that is important to them. Don't give them your bride. If you have a timeline, you do not need to give your bridesmaids all the AV tech timeline issues also, right? Because they'll miss the parts that are important to them. Because in between having the photographer show up, having the cameraman show up, having the DJ show up, there might be a little line that says, all bridesmaids meet in the foyer at 4:00. And they'll miss it if it's squeezed between all of these other things.
With that, let's talk about design and inspiration because we mentioned Pinterest and Instagram. What's your recommendation? Because again, this can be overwhelming with creating mood boards or saving a private album or saving things in a private thing on Instagram. What's the line and what's the best way to utilize these tools, which are awesome, but also not get so convoluted that you lose your vision or you go out of budget or you have these like
I get it. So because planning takes a long time, and a lot of people are in the wedding planning since they were 6 years old. There are girls out there and boys like me that was 6 years old going, I can't wait to get married. I'm gonna have a big veil. I mean, I really did thought I was gonna have a big veil.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we were thinking about our weddings from a very young age. And so there are things that have been stuck in our heads. And when you're talking about wedding planning in general, there's always going to be something that has to fall to the side because of budget, because of logistics, because of location, because of this, because of that. And so the first thing that, I talk to my couples about is not only the realities of planning a wedding and like the things that they're going to have to deal with, but 5 things that are absolutes, right? And it could be, I have to have my dad walk me down the aisle. Great. I have to show up in a Lamborghini. Great. These are the 5 have-tos, right? So those are put into a protective world, and we will figure out all the other things to make sure that these big 5 happen, right? So if that means that we have to go to a 4-hour bar versus 5, which we will not, but 4-hour bar versus 5 in order to make the Lamborghini happen, okay, we understand that, right? So but because these are the things that are important to the couple. Now, what's going to happen is that the first 5 that we talk about are going to be different than when I come back to you 3 months, 6 months, 8 months later and say, okay, are these big 5 still important to you? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they may change. You may be going through the process and looking at things like Pinterest and what have you. And you're like, oh my God, maybe I don't want the Lamborghini because that looks stupid. Right? Because it does, by the way. So on reality out there, getting out of a Lamborghini is stupid. Don't do it. You don't own it. Nobody knows you own it. Come on.
Especially if you have a big dress.
Exactly. It's not your car. Everybody knows it's not your car. Come on. Right. So, get in front of a big, beautiful tree or something.
Save it for your bachelor, bachelorette.
Exactly. Oh my God. Process. Anyway, so I think that it's, if you're in the process of planning a wedding, I'm a big old school person. I like touch, feel, I like to sense things. And so I was a big fan of doing the big white piece of cardboard where I would have a glue stick and I would glue stick, articles that I saw. Pinterest has kind of taken that place, but the problem is that it's too easy. See, when you had the big board, you had to take the effort of taking out the scissors, cutting it, putting the glue on, and sticking it. And during that process,
there's an example on if you're watching in the background of that's not a vision board. I make vision boards, but I had a family friend made that for me for my Sweet 16. Oh. It was things that made her think of me.
See, I love that, right?
A lot of that still applies, and that's what on display.
But I also make
personalized collages for people and then vision boards.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's hard because magazines are dead, basically. And how do you make vision boards when there's no magazines to cut from?
You print it. I mean, I go to like UPS all the time and get shit printed. Stuff printed all the time. So there's a process when you cut things out. It gives your brain time to think about whether or not you really want this on your vision board because you're stopping and thinking. When you have Pinterest, it is way too easy to just click, 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 because then your brain does not have time to think, oh, wait, am I really interested in this? Or what? Am I interested in the bright light, right? Am I interested in the glitter? Because that at the moment, that's like, oh, I love the glitter, click, right? But you might hate the photo later. And too many of us do not go back and review our Pinterest boards before we start then talking to florists and designers and things. So it is important to edit.
And do you actually like the item in it, or do you like the feeling it evokes, like art?
Exactly. Right? Exactly. What about this picture made you enjoy it? Was it the chair? Was it the lighting? Did you get an emotional response out of it? What was it specifically from this photo? And it is important to know if it's an object or feeling, right? Is it an object or feeling? And then label those. Make sure that your objects are all objects and that your feelings are all feelings. So that way you start to get a general sense of what visuals are creating what kind of feeling in you. And then we can replicate those visuals for you at your wedding so that you get that same feeling, right? Because candlelight is usually number one. Candlelight is number one when it gives everybody a sense of warmth and joy and romance. And I mean, a simple candle does so much, right? And so a lot of times people will cut out or pin pictures of candles, even though it's just a candle. It's the feeling that it evokes. So you're absolutely 100% correct, is that when you have a Pinterest board, the idea is that, yes, click, 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 but edit. Go back and look at it again and make sure that you like those photos and get rid of them. I find myself almost becoming a hoarder when it comes to Pinterest because I'm like, oh, but I don't want to get rid of that. Oh, I'm
guilty too.
Right? Because you're like, oh, I really love that. And so that's when you get into like your secondary and third pages. So you create a secondary account that you can then use as a filter and a third account as an additional filter, because then now you're thinking about, okay, I've clicked this. Now I want to like move this to my next page of like, these are more definite. And now your brain is actually thinking, okay, do I want to make this more definite? Right. So you gotta apply some filters in there. So I don't know if that answered the question, but.
No, it totally does.
Okay.
I think that's really wonderful advice and great perspective for us when going through this process. But speaking of Pinterest, you mentioned AI earlier, and I don't know about you, but I've seen so many AI generated photos now on Pinterest. Like I was just going through to get my hair done and I was like looking at all these images, and every time I click on it, the model, it said in the corner AI generated. And I was like, well, fuck, are every single photo now AI generated?
That sucks.
So like with AI, there's pros and cons to it, right? So what are the pros and cons for utilizing AI when it comes to wedding planning?
So, I love AI because it allows me to put in keywords and get the creative juices started. But that's what it should be, is a start point. It is not a finish point. It is a start point. This is not going to be reality because it's not reality. It is making things up out of the air and creating things that may not be real in real life, right? And this is one of those moments that even if you have millions of dollars, there might not be a way to fabricate some of the stuff that it's coming up with because it's pulling it from thin air. What it can create online might not be possible in reality, right? Like there can't be human robots serving everybody that look real, right? So I think that AI is really great for, and I'll give a really specific example. I had a bat mitzvah, where the celebrant she was like really into jeans, mirrors, and silver, right? And I'm like, jeans, like what? Okay, Levi's. I'm like, what? How am I? Oh, and pink. Oh yeah, throw in pink. And so I went to my AI, my ChatGPT, whose name is Vion, by the way. I know, named itself, creepy. So, and said, okay, here are the keywords. It's a bat mitzvah. This is, I want to get some ideas to present to them. And it like produced some really amazing ideas that had silver, pink, Levi material, mirrors. Wow, like it really produced some really fantastic things. And then I went back and edited it and said, okay, now take this out, put this in, put in a dance floor, take this out. And it gave me at least a basic idea of what the possibilities are. And then I took it over from there. Done.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's important, right? But you should never assume that AI is possible and that it is the end result, because there's always been this tendency for us to want to look at perfection in magazines and online, and AI is just kind of reinforcing that. It's kind of like the Cosmo, where every person looks amazing. Their hair is perfect. Their makeup is perfect. Their dress is perfect. Is that reality? No. Do we have to think about sweat stains on wedding dresses? Yes. Do we have to think about back sweat on grooms? Yes. I mean, these are all things that we have to take into consideration when looking at like outdoor ceremonies or high intensity moments or like, those type of things. Those are things that are based in reality, and AI is not going to help you fix that.
And Pinterest isn't going to show you that unless you're seeking it out directly.
Exactly. And how do you know? It's like all of a sudden you're in this outdoor because you wanted a beach wedding in South Florida in June, and now it's 88 degrees, it's windy, it's rainy,
95% humidity.
right? And now what do you do? What do you do? And so are there ways to be able to make that happen? Yes, there are ways. There are places that you can go that give you the beach scene, but you got to know somebody that knows the environment to be able to make those things happen. You got to find a professional that does that.
Yeah.
Right. And that really comes back down to all of it is that the network that you build with your vendors is ultimately super important because somebody's going to know somebody that's going to know somebody. Now, one of my favorite kind of off-brand places to go is a Facebook group. Again, Facebook is for old people, so get ready. Is a group called Find Them, FYND them, THEM, right? It's a group for event planners and event people. And basically, if I need anything, I put it into the group and I'll get 10, 20, 30 responses. It's an amazing.
What a great community.
Oh, I love Find Them, FYNDE. So,
and we've brought this up before. Like the vendor community is strong. It's international. Like vendors talk. So whether you are a great couple and you need advice, they can get it for you. If you are a shitty person or shitty couple,
yep.
It's going to spread like a wildfire there too.
100%. And, you know, and as we were talking about, and I know I can say this because Colin was saying it last night to the public. So he's obviously, he deals with multi-million-dollar weddings and he does not like some of his clients. And I will tell you that there was a very big wedding that he did that they had millions to spend, and he did not like this client who is very well known. And he did what he was supposed to do. But if she had been nice or kind, or they had an emotional connection, I can't even dream about how much more could have been done because then the feelings come out. We're human beings. And so if we feel good about what we're doing, if we feel positive about what we're doing, we're going to go that extra step. We're going to like move heaven and earth to get things done for you. If you're nice, if you're not, you can suck it. So
Great.
Right? But
that applies to life, right? It goes even beyond your wedding vendors. Like, if you are good, it's good karma, right? Good and bad karma.
Giving back karma. But I mean, the thing is if you're paying me, your wedding is going to be amazing. I don't care if I like you or don't like you. Now, the difference is, am I going to go the extra step to make sure that it's over the top? If you're nice to me, absolutely. If you're not, you're going to get an amazing wedding. But, I being nice gets you so much more. Right?
Yeah.
Than being a hard, horrible person. And then, and it says, I ride my vendors and I got the most out of them because I squeezed out an extra 10%. I'm like, yeah, you actually ended up spending $10,000 more than you should have.
Yeah.
Right? Because we charged you for everything that we're supposed to charge you for.
Whereas if you're a great client, they might give you some leeway or some discounts or try to find extra leeways and discounts for you. Go above and beyond.
Or find it for cheaper. Yeah. Or find somebody that has it on sale or somebody that, is that something that we have to do professionally? No, we don't, because our job is to get you what you ask for. How we get that depends on how much intensity that we feel towards the client. If I know that my client has a very set budget and they really need or want this, and I love this couple and I really want to make sure that their day is special, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to call my friends. I'm going to call my other vendors. I'm going to be like, do you have this? Do you know somebody that has this? I will figure it out.
Right.
If you're not nice to me, I am not professionally obligated to do those things. Because that's not in my job description. My job description is to make sure that you get the wedding that you want. And the cost is the cost, right? So, it's human nature. It is human nature to luckily, I've I've got about a 99% of people that I love my couples. I'm friends with them for years. I do their baby showers.
Awesome.
I do their bar mitzvahs. I mean, I love that. I mean, there's nothing like getting in somebody's life like that. So
before we get to the final two questions, I would like to know, is there any other piece of advice for our couples when it comes to choosing and utilizing apps or other kind of communication tools?
Don't let them be the end all be all, right? Don't let the apps be the end all be all, because what the apps tell you and what somebody tells you, what a vendor tells you, it's just so hard because they're not great. As much as I love our vendor community, there are some vendors that aren't great and that they don't do a really good job, or they're sneaky, or they charge too much, or they, and then there's apps that also do the same thing. So it's kind of like half dozen of one or the other. It's like, which one do you go? I think it's important to do a mixture of all of them and then trust your gut. Like, do you feel comfortable with what is being said? Do you feel comfortable? Because most people have a general sense of what is right and wrong instilled in them. And so if they're talking to a vendor and they don't feel right and something feels off, then something's off. Move on.
Don't book with that vendor. It's okay to walk away.
It is okay to walk away. And same thing with an app. If you're like, that doesn't make sense, good. That means, that app is probably not telling you the right thing. So, trust some of your gut also don't believe your friends. Okay. When you start planning a wedding, the first thing that happens is everybody wants to tell you the worst thing that they've ever seen happen at a wedding. It happens every single time.
Yes, it does.
Right? And you don't believe that crap. Just don't believe it. Don't take it into your head. The reason that they're bringing it up is because most people do not know how to talk to each other. And so they figure out like the one thing that they can then talk about and like, oh my God, did you hear about Mary's wedding? Oh yeah. Like, don't believe it.
Yeah.
Most of it's not correct. Most of it's not true. Believe in your day, your person. Think inwardly. Don't buy the hype. Don't buy the hype.
I love that. And also use a budgeting tool. Because I use Monarch personally. I've used Mint before. There's a lot of great ones out there to utilize.
Yeah.
And I think it's great because you can utilize it for the wedding.
Yes.
But you can also use it just for life.
Well, and the thing is that if you worry about the pennies or the nickels now, if you worry about the nickels, then you don't have to worry about the dollars. And that's the thing is that, when you look at something and you're like, oh, but it's only $2 or it's only $10. Well, multiply that by the number of people, then add service charge and tax to it, delivery fee and transportation. Now that small thing has become huge. So be very careful about, well, it's only $10. No, it's not only $10, right? So you gotta work it all the way out and make sure. And again, does it have emotional value? If it does not have emotional value, get rid of it. It doesn't make sense, right? So, emotional value.
I love it.
Sorry.
All right. Keith, we have to know, what is in your wedding bucket?
If I see another garter toss, I will throw myself over the bridge. I mean, could anything be more nasty than...
So tacky.
Oh, I mean, you're going to put a garter on a stranger's leg, and then you're going to allow some stranger, to crawl up their leg and pull it off because you got this sweaty piece of rubber band off of the bride's leg. Ugh! I mean, all of it is just disgusting. The whole thing is just disgusting. First of all, it is up on her upper thigh. There is all sorts of nasty stuff going on there, right? Then you pull that thing off and you put it on somebody else. I mean, it is unsanitary. And it is crude and nasty, and
so gross.
It needs to go away. Okay, the garter toss needs to go away. I hate that stuff. Ugh. Blah, blah.
Anything else in your bucket?
So I think people's fear of line dances needs to go away, because if I hear another person say no more line dances at my wedding, it's like, are you kidding? That's the one thing that gets people out on the dance floor. Stop being a weakling. Allow the line dances. Now, if your DJ starts playing line dance after line dance after line dance, that's an issue. Use it sparingly because that is a way to get people up on the dance floor. The other thing is that be okay with cheese. I love a little cheese in a wedding. And that means like the blinky lights, the foam batons, all that like bar mitzvah, quinceanera stuff. People love that shit. People love that shit. They love the blinky stuff. They go crazy over it. They'll fight each other for it. They mean... Why not, right? If you have this really fantastic wedding, you've got all the romantic shots. Everybody is now drunk and having a good time. Throw a bunch of blinky lights and batons in there and let them play, right? Don't be fearful of it. And
they make great photos too.
They do make great photos. And, and don't take yourself too seriously. After a certain point, you need to become a human being again, right? So you've got the photos and the videos done. At some point in your wedding, you need to just have a good time because you get one chance. You get one chance to enjoy yourself. And people read how well the wedding is going off of the bride's face. So if the bride is like, then the guests are all, right? But if the bride is having the best time of her life, the guests are going to have the best time of their life. And it really is mindset. You have to go into your wedding day to say, fuck it. I'm out here. It's my one day. I'm so excited about getting married to this amazing human being. I can't believe I get to celebrate with all of my friends. How lucky am I? Right? That to me is everything. When you have that kind of couple, that wedding is gonna be hot. I mean, that is gonna be like, that is the magic that goes on top of the flowers and the linens and the lighting and the DJ. I mean, having a couple that is full of love and laughter and joy and just having the best time of their life is the cherry on top. That is everything to me.
Oh, so well said. All right, final question. What is your all-time favorite celebrity or royal wedding?
Okay, so this is going to suck because it is actually the Jennifer Lopez
Ben Affleck wedding?
Yes, Ben Affleck wedding. I mean, it's so bad because they didn't even make it not even a year? And I'm talking about the second time, I guess, right? Right? The second wedding?
Yeah, because they did the Vegas chapel first. But the big Atlanta, she did 5 different dresses.
Oh my God. So
photo shoots for all of them.
I have to tell you, there is a photo, and so I was lucky enough that we got to see some of Colin Cowie's personal photos from the wedding because he was the planner for the wedding, and so we got to see his photos of the wedding, and they were so good. Oh my God, the detail, it was full of rustic stuff, also glamorous and high end, yet using everyday materials. That wedding, the Jen and Ben wedding. And the problem is that what he said to us before he showed us, he goes, I'm going to show you photos of every wedding you've heard about, but nobody's ever seen. And so this sucks because I can tell you my favorite wedding is this Jen and Ben's wedding, but you probably won't ever see these photos because they're private. So, but if you ever get a chance, if there's ever, because there are some produced photos of their wedding out there, I love that wedding. He knocked it out of the park. Holy crap. That guy, his brain just works on a whole different level.
One of my favorite photos from that wedding is her, and this is a portrait photo. She's in a lace dress sitting on a swing, and it's a profile of her with the dress on a swing. You know what I'm talking about? I think her hair is back in a bun with a flower.
Oh, yes. And in one of the shots, you can see the swing in the background, which I loved. Oh, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And that's what I'm saying is that she is stunning and obviously incredibly hard to work with, according to all the great stories that we got to hear from Colin. But yeah, she's not an easy human being to work with. But oh my God, is she good looking? Damn. She's a good looking bride. Shit.
Out of all the JLo weddings, because obviously there's been a few, I love the Affleck stuff, but the Chris Judd look, I think, is my favorite. And then her first wedding to that asshole that tried to extort her is so 1996, 97. Like with the sheer on the side and her hair in that bun with the flowers.
Oh my God.
Like, it was
Did you
really
just say
pretty.
slut? Can we just say slut? You just were like, come on, sweetie.
I love
Really? What's happening here?
I love
What
it
is
so
going
much.
on?
But the Chris
this
Judd,
is-
the Chris Judd dress was my favorite of hers.
I mean, but that one, I just thought this would be the cover for Playgirl. If she was posing for Playgirl, this is the dress that she would be wearing because it's super sexy and seductive. And then you open it, it's all is revealed. It's like, but you know, the thing is, God, I just stuttered so bad because I had flashes of brides flying through my head of bad dresses, good dresses, right?
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is that when it comes to brides and their dresses, there has to be a reality check in there somewhere as well, because I'm like, oh, these poor brides, like they get caught up in the emotional. Oh God, we got to have a whole second segment.
Or the trend, like, oh, everyone else is doing a basque waist. I have to have a basque waist.
Or they get caught up in the emotion. This is why I tell brides, like, go to wedding shows, but do not sign anything.
Yeah.
Don't buy anything. Don't have your shitty glass of champagne. Enjoy the hell out of it. Be a bride, but don't sign anything because all of those people are selling on emotion. Everybody's super hyped up. They're having a great time. Oh my God, I've got some champagne in me. I'm feeling the love. And then some DJ is saying, look, I'll give you 10%. If he's willing to give you 10% that day, he's going to give you 10% tomorrow, next week, 3 weeks from now.
I got sucked into that when I got married the first go around.
Oh.
I went to a wedding show and I knew better, but I got sucked in all of it too.
Don't sign anything at a wedding show. You never buy on emotion. Never. Ever, ever, ever buy on emotion. If you're feeling the love, then great. You'll feel the love tomorrow. You'll feel the love next week. Mm-hmm. If you're just feeling the love for the moment, that love will not be there tomorrow and it will not be there next week. Right. And then you'll save yourself a whole bunch of heartache because now you're not contractually obligated to fulfill this.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things is that when it comes to weddings, you know, you ride that fine line of joy, happiness, emotion, all those good things, but also practicality, being logical, and making sure that you're being financially responsible through all of that. And that's what a good planner does. A good planner keeps you honest with yourself, with your pocketbook, with everything. That's what a good planner does.
Well said. Keith, I could talk to you all day, but unfortunately we have to wrap here. But how can we get more information on you and your company?
So it's super easy. Social media, it's all by my first name and last name, Keith Willard, KeithWillard. It's at Keith Willard on Instagram, at Keith Willard on Facebook. Yes, old people Facebook. It's at Keith Willard. So it's at Keith_Willard, I think, on TikTok. I don't even know. You know, good luck. You can Google Keith Willard weddings and all sorts of stuff will come up. So that's the easiest way.
Thanks, Keith. You were amazing to have on.